infrastructure as a code point of view, one of the most popular and open source tool is Terraform. And Terraform is recently introduced Terraform test, a new native test framework. So if you look at the Terraform releases 1.6.0, they clearly mentioned that Terraform test is a command is now generally available, and this is used for the writing Terraform tests. So we know Terraform is used for infrastructure creation. So this is the official blog they created, and in that they have given us some information and some video and as well as the links, etc. Right? So let's try to understand what is this and all. Let's try to understand some background about it. So as we just saw, Terraform latest version is 1.6.0. Of course it's saying that 1.6.1 also released. So before that, in Terraform 0.13, input variable validation was introduced. So what exactly it is? If you look at this is my Terraform code, and where I created instance name, it's a type of string, it's a variable. I have written a one validation that this particular name should have a underscore compulsory in it. So if somebody try to declare without any underscore in my instance name, it's going to throw this particular error. That's a input variable validation. This feature was introduced. So this is the same screenshot. Now next, in Terraform 0.15, Terraform test was introduced, but as an experiment. So what was the experiment? At that time, TerraTest, Kitchen Terraform, and there is another provider which is apparently Mart/testing. So these are the few existing Terraform and Python based testing. There are multiple ways, but the TerraTest was a little bit popular. So, and combining all these things, and Terraform, since an open source community, has taken one step ahead to introduce this. That was it's introduced and it's continued. Next, in Terraform 1.2, pre-condition and post-condition was introduced. So which is something like this, right? So which is, if you look at the code, right, precondition, and so here there is a EC2 instance I am trying to create here, right, resource type. Here there is a lifecycle block. Precondition means before creating this particular instance, creating or apply or plan. So when I say create means it's a plan or apply. So before creating, I want to check whether x86 and 64 is my architecture, and post creation of a EC2 instance, my public DNS should not be blank. So that was my criteria. So this is the one feature was introduced. This is also quite useful for the testing purpose, where before creating the instance, after creating, something like that. And this is the input variable validation as we just saw. So now go back here. Then after that, in 1.5, just before 1.6, check, there is a one command was introduced, right? What exactly that check? So this is a check. So let's go to the code and let me explain. So this particular check block, right, is called as a block, where you can write a check block for any of the data and other resources that it will verify during your infrastructure creation. So you can validate that whether this particular code is going to give the expected result or not. So I know when you run this particular Terraform data block, right, it's going to do the some operation and give you the result, but unless you apply, you won't be able to see. But this check helps you that whether it will work or not, and you can verify data block specific the output. Not only data, other resources also you can use this along with the check. So this is a little bit of background about it. Now in a 1.6, the final version of a Terraform test was introduced. So this is the what that today we are going to look into it. Next, what is the purpose of Terraform testing? So first of all, validate your Terraform configurations. Let's say this is my Terraform configuration and I am searching for AMI, I am creating a AWS instance and blah blah blah, all these things. So my configuration, this is my configuration, is whether correct or not. Who will validate whether I am using a T3 micro or not, right? Or I am using a T2 large. So second is validate your original infrastructure. So when you create this particular infrastructure, AWS EC2 instance, then you can verify whether it's correctly created or not. Like who will give you assurance that if I created with the T3 micro, it's correctly created T3 or T2 or something else, M5 large. Who knows that, right? So cannot trust a human. Now unit testing. This is one of the most important feature we can achieve with the Terraform testing. So you can, if you have written some hundreds of EC2 instances and hundreds of S3 buckets, blah blah blah, right, then you can write a unit test with the Terraform testing. And another feature is integration testing. This is the beauty of it, right? Let's say you wanted to test one EC2 instance creation. Simple use case. How you will test? First you will create a key, create a EC2 instance and attach a security group, right? And you will log into the Bastion and you check incoming and outgoing, right? This is all integration testing. Right? Now about Terraform test. If you want to create a Terraform test in your repository, first and foremost you need to create tftest.hcl or tftest.json. So we know .tf means Terraform file and .md means markdown, right? And we know .tfrs as well, Terraform variables. For Terraform test, tftest.hcl. The file name could be anything, so you can give any name. That's the first and foremost thumb rule. Second is default is root directory or in the test directory. So you can place it here, or if you don't put it here, then Terraform will look into this particular directory, tests folder. It's a plural, right? The first. Second is run block. When I say Terraform test.tftest.hcl, then every tftest.hcl file will have a run block. This run block will have a required configuration. Whatever the configuration, whatever the unit test, whatever the integration test, everything will run in the run block, right? If you look at the my Terraform test file, right, you see lot of run blocks here, right? So run block means it's some test is there inside, as simple as that. Now another important, inside the run block, command. What is your command? Whether plan or apply. How you wanted to run this particular Terraform test. So this is so I wanted to do some Terraform test with apply. Yes, you can go ahead. Or I wanted to just test my plan. This is a command, right? So now assert. First we will create a file. Second you will define a run block. Inside the run block you will tell that I want a command is plan or apply. Then after that assertion. This is another important. Within the run block you will create a one assert which will, in order to evaluate my custom condition. So my test case means, what is my test case? Test case will check something, which will validate something, which will evaluate something, right? So those logic will go here. Actual your Terraform testing logic will go here in simple words, and we'll see more in the further slides. And finally, when you run a Terraform test as apply, it will automatically destroy. So you need not to say you are running 100 test cases. Out of 100, plan is around 95, but 5 are applied test cases. It doesn't cost much, and you no need to bother about that. This guy will take care. As simple as that. So, and hierarchy is like this. First you will define this particular file. Inside the file run block, inside the run block command assert and auto destroy. It will be automatic. So in the last slide we have seen that Terraform test means all the run blocks. So what exactly inside the run block? Let's try to see. First one is inside the run block command. This is the primary command. Your run block, you are running some test case, but what? Apply or plan, and apply is a default, please remember. Second, assert. So you want to do an assertion which is nothing but my test case has some condition and some error message. So that whatever the condition and error message you will be defining in the assert command. So that I will show in the demo, right? Next is variables. Terraform testing specific variables, right? If your module has a some variable, right? So this is my EC2 instance creation. So here is a some variable. This is a one variable, right? So those variables and test specific variables you can define. And one more thing is you can create a global variables and local variables. What is that? We know only one variable, input variable, but that means input variable you can override in the Terraform test block. Means you have defined 5 test cases. Out of 5 different values you can give. So you need not to modify your tfvars file. I hope you get it. Next is providers. Whenever you create any of the infrastructure, any module or any resource, you must define a provider. Of course, if you don't define also it will work, but that is a default. AWS will take whatever the configuration, but you can specify its alias and all. So I have put everything as a default. AWS is my default provider and my region is something like this, right? So this provider and providers both you can override in your test cases. Means here I am creating a EC2 instance. So what if I wanted to create this EC2 instance in America region or London region or Canada and other regions, Australia or India, Singapore? What? So that kind of a configuration where you can override and test it. So in order to test, provider has to be passed, right? That's you can achieve with the Terraform test. And the other one is a module. Whenever you are doing integration testing, you can define a module. This module is a separate from the your actual module. Means this is my Terraform, right? I will explain about this. I have a EC2 module, but for my testing purpose, I can create my own module. This is a local module, no relationship with the actual module. So it won't touch anything on your actual infrastructure. Other one is expect failures. Let's say your Terraform, when you are running some Terraform, you expect some failure. Say here some AMI, you are searching for one AMI. If I search with the Venkat 123, will it give me the AMI? No, it won't give. In that case, I can expect a failure. That kind of a failures you can verify whether it's correctly failing or not. With this, last but not the least, plan options. So we know Terraform test command default is apply, and plan you can specify. If you specify a plan, how you want to execute the plan? Plan options mode, whether you wanted to run a plan is a normally or you want to do the refresh, or plan options replace plan options target. You are targeting any specific plan or something like that, right? So these are all about the Terraform test command. In fact, if you go to the Terraform test documentation, you will be able to see all the options, so need not to take a screenshot or anything, right? Next, Terraform test, some important notes before going into the demo, right? First, if you run a Terraform test, right, I will show you one sample one. This is my Terraform test. I have some around 5 to 6 test cases. All these test cases will run in its own memory, so I need not to worry about the Terraform test, how it will take care, etc. It will take care of it. Only in the your state you need to maintain about your own module, but testing you just need to create this file, that's it. Then second option, it will automatically destroy. So once your all the tests are completed, like a 1 2 3 4 5, right, after this particular test, it will automatically destroy if I created anything as a apply. If I am running as a plan, there is no destroy. Now, so when I say Terraform test, so this is a file, you can give any name, right, .tftest.hcl. minimum one run command should be there, so that means at least one. Of course it makes sense, more than one also you can keep, but minimum one run block should be there. Then other one is variable provider blocks are not mandatory, you can optionally you can set based on the your requirement. Let's say in this particular use case I want to override some variable, and in this test case I wanted to pass a different TFRs. So those things you can take care with this. If use cases doesn't demand, don't use it, right? And the last but not the least, assert command. So in the run, within the run, we saw there is a assert. In the assertion you can put a condition, but what condition? Custom condition, Terraform custom condition on the named values types. So if you want anything on the named values, we can have a separate session on the what is named values, right? So those named values and custom condition you can define for your test case. Almost any kind of a test case you can put it on the resource block, data block, and other modules, module outputs, everything, and module attributes, resource attributes, etc, etc, right? So these are all about the points, and let's jump into the demo. Now from the demo point of view, let me explain my repository, right? So this is my repository. So I have a modules folder. Inside the module, what I am doing in the main.tf, right, let me move this. So this is a get caller identity, what is my current region, etc. And the second one is AMI. I am trying to search the AMI, which is Amazon Linux 2023, and this is a virtualization type, and it's owned by Amazon. So just I'm searching for a AMI. Second is I am searching for the VPC, which is a default VPC, and then again I am searching on the subnets. What are the available subnets? Just searching only, because there are default VPs are created, right? And region, this is what the region, right? Now region I am just setting as this provider. Here AWS instance, this is a EC2 instance I am creating with the AMI instance type subnet. Subnet is like whatever the subnets are returned, I am taking the first subnet using a element command, right? You know, element is returned from the list of IDs first, right, in the tag. So for this EC2 instance I am creating a tags name as a instance name hyphen region name, AWS region name. So if it is a AP Southeast 1, if my instance name is something like a test hyphen AP Southeast 1, this is a name I am printing. Second is organization. I'm just printing this value as my organization is a GVR, my cost center is 1 to 3, and my business unit is IT. This is simple. And in the outputs, I'm just printing what is my image ID, what is my VPC, what are the subnets. And EC2 instance, I'm printing a EC2 instance ARN instance type, whatever I'm creating, and its private IP address, and as well as its security groups. Just I'm printing just like that. Then also EC2 instance tags also I'm printing, which means these are the 4 tags I'm creating for every instance, right? Those I am printing, and as well as AMI ID as well. So it's just like a some output to just to know what I am passing. And this terraform.tf is a simple Terraform required provider is a AWS. I am just simply setting, and variable, these are the variable instance name and instance type, which I am passing over here, instance type, right? And instance name is over here. All good. So now, so this is EC2, and there is a caller.tf. So this is a module, Terraform module. If anybody don't know about the Terraform module, maybe we can have another session on the what is Terraform module. So I am calling as a Terraform module here. Source is modules folder.ec2, right? This is the word. And here in the caller level, I'm just calling EC2 module with by passing a instance name and instance type, 2 variables, right? And passing a provider, default provider. So if you go to the providers, this is a provider configuration, and the default configuration is AWS. If you don't specify also, it's fine, but I will keep as it is as a default AWS. I will tell you why. And region name, I am not hard coding like a AP Southeast one or something, because I want to be dynamic. So this is a variable I created, right? So this is a caller, right? And this module specific, I am printing a EC2 output as a module.ec2. So means inside the module, whatever the outputs, I am printing from my caller.tf, as simple as that. Then there is another variable as well I created just to show, created for demo. Why? I will tell you. This is later, okay, right? And variables, the most important. My module requires 3 different variables: instance name, instance type, region name. Instance name, I put a one validation that instance name must have an underscore. This is the underscore. And instance type should have a dot in it, like a t2.micro. So that whoever is passing the value, I am just validating. Nobody can give like a something t2 micro without any dot. So that's, and region name I did not put anything, which is just a string. So just for the sake of a demo, I did not put any validation, right? These are about my module. And there is another one is a envtfvars, right? This is a envtfvars. What I am doing is here, for development configuration, instance name is this dev underscore, because I give an underscore. Instance type t2 micro, and region name AP Southeast 1, right? And key pair, this is extra value. I will tell you why I am passing, okay? Because this key pair is nowhere is used, right, in the variables or anywhere, but I will tell you why I am passing. And the QA configuration, dev is this, QA is AP Southeast 2, dev is AP Southeast 1, UAT in US West 1, okay? All right. So now what I will do is, so I have created the, so Terraform, I have given a shortcut as a TF. So TF version, it will give me the version, right? All right. Now Terraform plan, and I am passing a var file as a dev.tf vars. So here, so this is a UAT, but let's pass the dev. Sorry, I need to initialize. So TF init. All right, it's initialized. Now I'll clear this Terraform plan, right? So now I am running against a dev.tf vars, right? Here what it's showing is printing all the outputting values along with the EC2 tags. You see This is my instance name hyphen region name is printing. Region is AP Southeast 1 because it's a Singapore region, and organization, cost center, etc. These all good. It's printing perfectly what I expected. Now what I will do is I will run again is the QA. This is a QA.tfrs. Here QA, right? I run the QA.tfrs, right? So QA in AP Southeast 2, right? QA instance, whatever the name I given, and T2 micro, etc. All right, good. Now we'll run the UAT as well. So this is a UAT.tfrs I'm passing, which is this. This is targeting a US West 1, not US East, just for testing purpose, right? I'm passing. So now it's creating perfectly. So my code is plan is absolutely okay. It's completely dynamic. So anybody can pass this region name, right? And automatically it will create that. So just to test, right? Now in the dev.tfrs, I'll remove this underscore whether my validations are working or not, right? TF plan, we will run the same dev.tfrs, right? This is a development environment I am testing, right? Of course, obviously it will work. The name value must have underscore in it, so which is throwing from here this particular error message, right? Is throwing. That's perfect. Now in the dev.tfr, I put an underscore and remove this dot. Let's see this validation also working or not, right? Now again I am running a Terraform plan against dev.tfrs here, right? The name value must have a dot in it, so this is coming from here. And region name, anyway I did not put anything purposefully, but if you put, then it will give me the error because you don't know the even Singapore AWS region name. That's what it will complain, right? All right, now Terraform test. So, and also I have created the tests folder, and I will explain about that. But for the sake of testing, I have created the unit test.tftest.hcl, right? Now go back to here. So let's come from the bottom to top. Expect failures, right? I will go from here. So we have seen in the env.tfrs, right? T2 micro, I'll set back to the dot. Now these configurations are absolutely created as like a before. Now the first test case is I want to test input validation is working correctly or not. Means these validations are correctly working or not. I want to write it as a test, right? So in the run block, first test case, validate input command equal to plan. So command equal to plan I am specifying because in order to validate the variables, I no need to apply, because why to create a infrastructure? I can run a plan and I wanted to verify. That's what the framework is. Here variable names, my TFRs is passing a required 3 values. Let's comment out this keep here for now, right? So this is 3 variables. 3 variables for this test case only. I created another variables block, and instance name dev instance 99 I am giving purposefully, no underscore in it, and instance type T2 micro, and region name I am correctly passing. So these two are wrong. So expect failure. So what are the variables you are expecting a failure? That you need to pass. So here out of 3, now tell me how many will fail. Definitely these 2 will fail. This is won't fail. That's what I trust on my code. But here how do I verify? This is a command, right? So now what I will do is I'll just comment all rest of the things, right? And I wanted to run. So in order to run the command, what is the name? Terraform test is a command. If you run the Terraform test, everything it will run. but you need to pass this particular TFR, because here I have a multiple TFRs. I wanted to pass a specific file. This is a -var file as a dev.tfr, but dev.tfr is passing a correct values, right? But whereas for this test case, it's taken the inside the values, right? See here, unit test.tftest file, this is the file, and run validate input, this is a run block, and it's pass in the sense really I pass these two values and it given the failures and it's expected correctly and validated and saying that these values are correct as per the my expectation. Hope you get it. And it's tiered down automatically. Got it? So this one, and say if I specify region name is correct, but I wanted to specify var dot region name, I will get, even though I am region name is I given a correct, right? So here if I run the same test case, see the error. What it's saying is var dot region name, the checkable object region name was expected to report, but it did not. So what the Terraform is looking is this region name you pass, this system should complain something, but there is no validation we have here. And if you put the validation also, you need to pass the wrong value here. That's why it's expecting. So means just remember, for the expect failures, you must pass only the failable checkable object only. I would say failable, right? So right. So now let's switch to the next one, right? Now command is finished and expect failures. Hope you understand. Now go to the second test case. This is a unit testing name validation. So as we saw in my module, right, whatever the instance name we create, -region name is printing, right? So that I wanted to verify, right? Here if you look at the test case, command equal to plan, I wanted to run a plan, but condition assert. So this is the what the assert we learned, right? Condition and error message. So condition is module.ec2 instance tags. So module.ec2. So caller.tf module.ec2 instance tags. So this is the output of actual module. So ec2 instance tags is this one. So this is tags all. Tags all is what? Map of string, right? So here map of string is like a dictionary, Python dictionary, right? Map of string of name, right? So if you look at here, right, of name ec2 instance name -region name. So here look at here, var dot instance name means whatever I pass -region name. If this is not met, then it give me an error, instance name is not as expected. So means here what values it will take, there is no variables here where it will take, right? So here tf dev.tfrs it will take, right? So let's move this to panel position to bottom, right? So now perfect. So here, right, dev.tfrs, this dev.tfrs will be passed, and when I run this second test case, the first is the validate input and second is this, right? So perfectly it's whatever I pass, it's returned. So how do I know that this run block is correctly working? Just let's do one thing. Instead of dash, you put it, say something hash, right? And then just try to run just like that, right? And see what happens. Right. So look at the error here. my module.ec2 instance name dev instance 1 hyphen ap southeast 1, where instance name is this one, region name is this, instance name is not as expected. So my module is given this output, but you are expecting something else. That's what it's complaining, right? Test assertion failed. So this is a common the heading you will see, test assertion failed, but it will clearly tell you where is a problem in your test case or problem actually in your module. Your module is returning this, what should I do? That's what it's saying, right? So that it's easy to troubleshoot as well your test cases, where is your test case wrong, etc. So that's why it's failed, one pass and one fail and one pass, right? Now I set back to the normal, and then if I run the Terraform test, right, it will automatically pass. Validate inputs and name validation. All right, perfect. So now the third use case, which is org validation, right? So here organization validation. So as you guys see, right, along with the EC2 instance, I am printing a organization as a GVR, right? So every EC2 instance, these three tags are automatically attached, no matter what's the name. So here organization, whether it's correctly printing as a GVR or not, that's the same like a name validation, but it's a this name is different. But this GVR value, I don't want to hard code here. I can hard code like this, but I don't want to hard code. So what I did here in the root level, so in the tftest.hcl file, in the root variable section where I defined all these values. So global variable org, cost center and business unit, which is these values, so that I can use these variables for across all the run blocks. That's the overall idea. So this is it's used here. So now you can override these variables in any of the run blocks by specifying the same variables. You need not to specify a type here. So here local var org, here I specified, and here I pasted here, right? And still my organization is returning a GVR, right? And I am just checking whether it's ABC, right? So now what I will do is I'll run the same test case again and see whether it is this ABC working or not, right? So it's running the test and running org validation, right? So you look at here, org validation is failed, and it's given me the error saying that you are checking for the different, your value, local value is ABC, but actual module is giving this, means it's considering this value, right? Hope you get it what I mean. So this is about the variables and its overriding, right? So let's set back to the previous state and go back to the slide, right? So variables, input, global, local. I hope you get it what exactly this in global and local variables, right? Now providers, perfect. So now this is a customized provider. So if right, perfect. So this is the one. So business unit validation I won't be explaining because this is the same as the previous one, right? So cost center, business unit and all will be there. Now customized provider, if you look at our main module, right? So if you go to the caller.tf, right, which is this caller.tf where I am calling my module. Here I am passing a providers as AWS, right? And you go to the provider.tf, provider is AWS and region name I am dynamically passing. So here alias is what? AWS is alias. So you need not to specify here alias equal to AWS. So no need, because it's by default is a AWS. So since I have not provided anything, so now it will work. Now if you want to, so here what I am doing is in the root level of this TF test, I have created the provider alias as America, right? America, and region I am passing as a US East 1, and here running command equal to plan providers So remember, root level provider, inside the run block it's a providers plural, right? So that's what the here, if you look at the providers, right? So here customized provider America. So what it's setting is I am passing America, and region is what here, US East 1, but actually what I am passing from the TFR AP Southeast 1, but it will take a precedence of this one. So here I am overriding for this unit test case, and I am checking whatever the instance name hyphen US East 1 should expect, right? If I am passing this provider, of course it will should give me this, right? That's what my expectation. So now what I will run is I will just run the test case, right? So customizer provider America, and when I enter, right, so it's running the my test case. So it will take a bit of time because every time it has to go through and validate, right? So, and moreover you can put this assert statements multiple in the one run block, so don't think like only one. So here it's perfectly returning, right? Let's say if I put it as a US East 2 just for the testing purpose, right? So let's see how it of course it will give me the error and shows that, right? So here it's run customizer provider America, right? Just put it America, I'm passing here. So means for your test case here, you are not modifying your actual module, you are only like you are injecting the piece of code in the test file, right? So here it's clearly saying that module is actually given is a US East 1, but you are checking for US East 2. That's what this complaining, right? So this is a one test case, and here another test case is which is related to the same customizer provider 2. Here I am passing a London as a provider and EU West 2 I am passing, right? So my so many friends are living in a London, so right, providers. So here for London, whether it will work or not. So here AWS provider is equal to aws.london I given, and here in the America I put it as a provider is equal to aws.america. This America is a alias, remember. Here London is my alias, you can put anything. And same, I am just checking for the EU West 2 and test case, perfect, right? And here if you just running the same test case, right, customized provider London, remember, right? So all again one by one it will execute, and you can comment as well if you wanted to speed up the things and all, but I don't want to speed up, so I wanted to like a really day to day what we do, right? So all the validations and America provider is testing, right? So and London provider also successfully created, so now all good, right? So this is how you can test multiple providers without touching this one, right? Otherwise how you will test in the legacy world, you will go here and pass in the TFRs, etc, etc. So here you are not touching anything, only you are playing with this, right? Now integration testing, right? So module, especially for the integration testing. So integration testing, right? So here create a key pair. So my use case is before creating a EC2 instance, I want to create one key pair, right? So key pair I wanted to create, but that key pair I don't want to touch the module. How? For my testing purpose I want to create a key pair. So I can go here in my AWS Singapore region, right? And the key pairs are here, right? Here I can go and create a key pair. I can create my own key pair, but I want to do from the Terraform and see the key pair for my integration testing. For that, this module block will be used, right? Which is in the slide, this module block. So what is this is doing is create a key pair. So and where I kept this key pair modules in the tests, because I am creating a key pair for the testing purpose, not for the actual, right? So here test key pair create. So it's a simple in the test folder, this is a folder, and the main.tf I put the Terraform providers and region name dynamically passing. This is a string. Key pair name, whatever the name you pass, that key pair name .pem file will be created. As simple as that, right? So simple. Then another one, lookup verify key pair. So this is a simple Terraform providers, this region key pair name. So just is doing a data lookup, that's it. So here I am creating a one key pair and then doing a data lookup by using this module command. Module source equal to, so it doesn't require any variables. Maybe you can ask this create key pair values from where it will take. It will take from the TFRs, right? So that's about this. And then if you run this TFRs, right, and here mod command equal to, I have not specified, so default equal to apply. So let's see whether by default it's applying or not. So I'm in a Singapore region, I'm running in a Singapore region, right? So module create a key pair. So let's see how it's customized provider America, then after that London, after that London, right? So I'm just keep, see, dev key is created already, right? And immediately destroyed. See, so here create a key pair is created and lookup verify key pair is also read, and it's successfully validated and it's successfully removed as well. So we have seen all these commands. And plan options, unfortunately there is not much documentation is available, right? So I won't be able to give any demo on this. So far we have seen the input variable validation and global and local variables, unit test cases, cross provider usage, and just now we saw the modules as well, right? Now is cross run block reference. So it's a very simple one, right? So cross run block reference is here. If you look at here, the first run block is validate inputs is happening, second is a name validation. So cross run block reference is this name validation run block, right? I wanted to check whether that run block specific output is correctly working or not. Means instead of putting a, right here, if you look at the customized provider module.ec2 of instance tags and all, right, here run dot name validation. So run is, this is the run, my test case. So indirectly test case dot name validation, test case name ec2 created for. So if you go to the caller.tf, there is another output which is my module output, right? My module output is correctly giving me the demo or not. That's what I'm checking here, right? This is a cross run block. Or else this demo I can store it in a variable as well. So something like a variables, right? And something like this. So name validation equals to this, so variable name validation equals to run something like this. I can store it here, and condition I can check like this as well, right? Something like this also I can check. So what happens is internally it will call the run block and stores output in this particular variable, and it will verify. So that's what it's going to happen. So let's try that. We'll pause the video here. Now let's run that. So this is what the command I'm running, right? So and now I will pause the video. So now it's running the check name validation call of run block, right? Run block, and from the run block it's taking the output and verifying that whether it's correct or not. And meanwhile I can check that every time I'm running, right? So it's destroying my key pairs or not, right? So it will take care. So sometimes it will be slow, right? So it's my key pairs are, it's tearing down. So overall point is here, check name validation call is successful. So now go back to the slide, cross run block references as we just see, and the last but not the least, it's handling multiple tests. In order to handle a multiple Terraform test file, I have created a unit test2.tftest.hcl. So, and in the from the first one, I have just kept only these two, and the rest of the all are commented. So means like from one test file two run blocks, and another test file only run block, just a simple EC2 AMI check where command equal to plan, and I am checking whether this AMI ID is this one or not, right? So when I say Terraform test, what happens is it will take these two files and executes, right? So two tests from the one file, another two tests from the two files, right? So like this test file, this test file. So if I have 100, every time it will execute the 100. So if I wanted to run only this file only, then the command is so tftest, same thing, but you need to specify this number too, right? Then here hyphen filter, then the file name. Then when you run, it will execute only one file. So it executed only unitest2. And if I specify, if I remove this, and it will take the this file, right? So hyphen filter, and it's validating this file. And when you remove completely, it will execute the both. And tf Terraform and test and hyphen help, then you will be able to see this, what is a test directory. So if your test directory is different than this test folder, if you keep any other name, UAT test or something like that, then you can specify the directory, otherwise it will take a tests, right? So var file is as we have seen already, right? The tfvars file. And the filter, this is the what the filter where you will be passing a specific test file about Terraform test. That's it. Thank you for listening, and please subscribe if you have not subscribed. Like, comment and share with your friends as well. And this particular code is available in the GitHub. I will give you everything in the form of links, and let me know if any other topic you wanted to discuss. Thank you. Bye bye.